Okay, so today we're going to look at this special topic that all of you, at least you'll be familiar of. It is called infectious disease. Okay, infectious disease. So in the learning outcome, state that infectious diseases are caused by pathogens, and are transmissible. So this disease can be passed from one person to another. So it's transmissible. And why is it can be passed from one person to another? Because the pathogen can be passed from an infected person to an uninfected person, just like COVID, right? COVID started in China, Wuhan. Then after that, start to spread all over the world, the whole world, right? So quickly, right? So this is a transmissible. So it's infectious disease caused by the pathogen, which is a virus. Transmissible means can be passed from one person to the other. So that's called infectious disease. So let's learn a little bit about the word disease, right? If you break it into two words, it's called disease. And now you know the meaning of disease, right? That means you are not feeling easy. That means you're feeling uneasy, you know, uneasy, okay? So how to define the word disease? So disease is an abnormal condition, because normally if you're okay, you feel easy, right? You feel comfortable. But when you're not okay, you feel abnormal, right? Or you feel illness. You feel ill. So it is an abnormal condition or illness or disorder. That means not in order. Your body is not in order. That's why you don't feel well. Okay. In which part? In your body. Okay, leading to the malfunctions or reduction in the effectiveness of the functions of organism. Because of this abnormal condition, your body, a person's body does not function normally, does not function effectively. So this is called disease. For example, heart disease, heart cannot pump properly. Kidney, something that affects the kidney, so the kidney cannot remove or filter some chemicals, remove excess water from body, remove excess acid from a body, okay? Illness of your digestive tract, so cannot digest food properly, okay? So disease is an abnormal condition, illness, disorder in the body of an organism, leading to the malfunctions or reduction in effectiveness of the functions of the organism, right? So disease, okay. So that means the body is not in good health lah. Right? Okay, infectious disease. So what about putting the word infectious together with the disease? So what is infectious disease? Infectious disease, so disease is an illness, right? So you cannot use back the same word disease. So you have to say an illness, okay, or disorder, okay, caused by pathogens. Pathogens, okay, that is transmissible or communicable from one host organisms to the other. That means this illness of a person is because of pathogen. Later on, you will see the definition of pathogen. And this illness can be transmitted, means transmissible. Transmissible or communicable means can be passed. Okay, can be passed from one host organism to another. Host organism means like the pathogen is staying in your body. So it's like you're inviting guests to your house. So you are the host. You are the host. So host organism is where the pathogen is residing in. And then this pathogen can be passed from the host organism to another organism. Okay. So that means the pathogen can be spread from an infected to an uninfected person. Okay. So now there are many other types of diseases which are called the non-infectious disease, right? Non-infectious disease, they are illnesses that are not caused by pathogens. So there are many, okay? We have got physical disease, deficiency disease, inherited disease, degenerative disease, mental disease, have to do with the thinking of the person, emotion of the person. Social disease have to do with the social environment of the person, the group of people staying, okay? Probably the nature of the job, the nature of the environment, Okay, self-inflicted disease is a person deliberately do something to harm his own body, like take something sharp and stab their own skin, okay, drink a lot of alcohol, smoking, or all these are self-inflicted disease. Okay, so if you want to know the meaning of all those diseases, you can actually Google search because it's not in the syllabus. All right, I just want to show you there are many other types of diseases. So non-infectious diseases are illnesses that are not caused by pathogen. Okay, they are not in the syllabus. Now, those that are in the syllabus that you have learned are sickle cell anemia. So this is an inherited disease because you learn that it's because of a defective gene that code for the beta chain of hemoglobin. So it is inheritable. From parents, it can be passed to the offspring, okay, in the chromosome. Then we have got lung cancer. So lung cancer can be considered as a degenerative disease. Degenerative means deterioration. Deterioration of the structure and therefore the function. Okay, deterioration of the structure of the lung and therefore the function of the lung in this case here. Lung cancer can also be due to self-inflicted disease because it could have developed because of this person smoking, okay, smoking for many, many years. Then the lung cancer slowly develop. Okay, they can overlap. Okay, it is also a physical disease because it affects the lung. Lung is a physical object. So it's also a physical disease. It is also a degenerative disease. It is also a self-inflicted disease. It may be a social disease. Let's say, for example, if you stay in an area, industrial area with a lot of factories emitting a lot of those toxic gases, and then this person is breathing in, day out because staying around the area. So then after a long time, lung cancer may also develop, and then that could be a social disease, right? A group of people staying in certain kind of condition, certain kind of environment, or a group of people working in a certain kind of environment, okay, like a factory with high radiation or area with high radiation, okay? Okay, so infectious disease. So we say that infectious disease is transmissible or communicable. So how can the pathogen of the disease be passed from an infected person to an uninfected person? So this is our focus, because this is how the disease can be passed, right? The disease can be passed from one person to another person, which is an infected person who is already carrying the pathogen, to an uninfected person who is free from the pathogen. So how is it being transmitted? So it can be many, many ways. Like for example, it can be waterborne, it means through water. Foodborne means through the food. Vector means through another living organism like mosquitoes. Airborne means go through the air, like the COVID. Okay. Sexually transmitted disease only through sexual intercourse. Direct contact means you touch the person, you get it. So it's contagious disease. Okay, you touch the person and you get it. Direct contact. So many, many ways of transmission. Now, what is the word pathogen stands for? Pathogens, okay? Pathogens are organisms that invade our body, means enter our body, okay? They enter our body. And then they live parasitically and cause disease. So there are 3 points here, right? Organism that can invade our body means enter our body, and then they can live parasitically on our body. Later on, I'll tell you what's parasitically, yeah? And then it can cause disease. So what are the example of pathogens? We've got bacteria, virus, fungi, protoctis. Protoctis are unicellular eukaryotic organism, like amoeba, parameciums are protoctis, okay? Worms are multicellular, insects are multicellular, okay? So just now I said live parasitically, right? So what do you mean by parasite? So parasite They are organism, parasites. I must put an S here, right? Okay, parasites, they are organisms which can live on or in our body. Live on means on our skin, on our hair, okay? Or in our body means inside our body, like in the organs, in the cells, okay? In the brain, in the lungs, in the intestine, okay? And why they want to live there? Because they can gain their nutrients from our body. That's why they want to live there. And then they usually will harm us to a certain extent is because they steal our food, right? They steal our food, isn't it? Okay, so therefore they'll harm us to some extent. But the moment they harm us until we get sick, they are considered as the pathogen. If we do not get sick, then they are just the parasite. Means pathogens are organisms which are parasitic, which can cause disease to us. That means we will become sick, right? If we don't become sick, they are parasites. Okay. Now, what about microorganism? Microorganism are micro means tiny, isn't it? Micro means small, like organism is living thing, right? So therefore, microorganisms are organisms or living things that are less than 0.1 mm. Just remember I told you before, what is the smallest dot that you can see with your naked eye is actually 0.1 of an mm. So anything smaller than that, you must use microscope to see. So microorganisms are organisms that are smaller than 0.1 mm size. So you cannot see with your naked eyes. So bacteria, viruses, a lot of fungi and protozoes, they are smaller than 0.1 mm. So they are also considered as microorganisms, or in short, microbes. Sometimes we call them microbes. Microbes, okay, means microorganism. Okay, so we have learned to state that the infectious diseases are caused by pathogens and are transmissible.